Facebook is expected to report earnings per share of $2.18 in the fourth quarter and revenues of $16.4 billion, according to FactSet. Monthly active users are forecast to reach 2.31 billion, rising by 8.6% year on year. Joining me now to discuss is Stuart Miles, CEO of Pocket-Lint. Thanks for coming in. So it seems as though revenue is among the key numbers for the stock. It came in below forecasts in the previous two quarters. What are you expecting there?
I think probably much of the same, to be honest. Facebook appears to be unaffected from a user perspective of all the scandals that we've seen over the last 12 months. And whilst the media are very cautious of Facebook now from a trust level, and you're seeing even Nick Clegg sort of being hired from Exo, whatever, to help their communications department. I think you're seeing that the majority of their regular user base is just carrying on as usual, which means that they're still getting served ads and everybody's happy from that point of view. But
it seems as though there is this shift, at least on Facebook rather than Instagram, towards Facebook Stories, and that is a lower ad revenue generator than, say, the newsfeed.
Yes, and you can look at it the other way, where it's saying that obviously WhatsApp is a very popular product owned by Facebook. Instagram, very popular product owned by Facebook, and neither of those, Instagram more so recently, has suddenly become deluged with adverts, but WhatsApp doesn't have. You've now lost the two founders from WhatsApp and the founders from Instagram, which were probably the guardians of trying to protect those, the users from advertising and monetization and stuff. And so because they've gone, I expect that to suddenly flow out a lot more. And you've already started to see this in conversations from Zuckerberg about integrating all three into a unified app, mainly so they can cross-pollinate data, so they can then serve adverts elsewhere.
Well, that's one of the reasons why investment is going to be so high in the coming year. Mr. Zuckerberg himself said that he's expecting it to be a very big year for investment, not just on that cross-pollination of the three systems, but also a whole host of other things: Facebook TV, Facebook Watch, Instagram TV, improving cybersecurity as well. What will that mean for margins, all of this outflow?
I think software is always that great thing, whereas there's a greater margin on actually physically making something and it not working. And we've seen Facebook dabble. Before Christmas, they launched this Echo Show competitor, a sort of a tablet-based device that was listening all the time, ready for you to be able to do stuff. And there was quite a lot of, again, media criticism of that. And I think the problem that Facebook has ultimately is this huge element of trust, and that it's lack of trust, so to speak, within the sort of mainstream media, and then that will that probably will trickle down and affect some elements of people saying, I'm not going to use Facebook anymore, I'm going to turn that off, but they're not really realizing that they then carry on using Instagram or they carry on using WhatsApp. And so if the Zuckerberg and Facebook team can merge those technologies together, because at the moment they're three separate technologies, but if you can merge those together, then it doesn't matter if you've lost them on Facebook as a portal, because you'll still catch them on WhatsApp. And if you've lost them on WhatsApp, you'll still catch them on Instagram. So there's huge potential there from a technology point of view if they can merge the products that they have, continue to dominate in the spaces that they do, and hope that nobody else comes up with a competitor. And at the moment, that doesn't seem very likely.
So given some of the political and social headwinds that the stock has been facing, along with challenges around data leaks, fake news, etc., is regulation the key issue going forward?
I think Facebook will always say that it can self-regulate and that it's fine, and that there's, you've already started to see that this year. They've kind of announced they're investing in local journalism. They were announcing that they're producing anti-political, anti-government interferent tools for the sort of Irish elections, and different things along the way. There is this sense, though, that having lived in a society where Facebook has grown with self-regulation, we do find ourselves in this sort of strange world where, our data is being leaked. If you use Facebook, the data is being leaked all over the place. So I think there is some element needed by government, which is very hard to say, look, this is how you're supposed to do it, almost a GDPR approach, but from a global scale rather than just a Europe-wide scale.
So in terms of Facebook, the way that Facebook monetizes its product, clearly, obviously, it's through ad dollars, but there seems like there's this increased shift towards mobile. Do you think that looks set to continue?
I think the mobile usage is obviously constantly on the up. Most people have a very modern phone these days, which allows you to spend more and more time on services, social media, etc. I think the problem with Facebook is that their key element is you get to use the product, you are the product, so you get to use it for free, and then they sell the data and the advertising against you. It's very different to a Microsoft who will sell you a subscription service to Office, or different to Apple who will be keen to sell you a device so you can buy more apps, or different to Amazon where they're kind of a portal to allow you to, all their devices are all about enabling you to buy more things through their shopping service. So Facebook's different in that sense that it has to work on huge numbers to be able to sell you advertising. That seems to be working to a point, but it's how much the user will be willing to accept that before they start looking elsewhere.
Now, I know you mainly look at the consumer side rather than the financials, but just to talk about the stock price, because it has been caught up in this major sell-off amid the broader US tech sector, do you think that it's oversold now?
Facebook in particular?
Yeah.
I think there is a sense of they have a very clear model of where they're going. It's about monetizing as much of their audience as possible and trying to encourage you to stay on that platform as long as possible, because then they can monetize you even further. There doesn't seem to be beyond that, and beyond the sort of, I think this year from Facebook we'll see a huge firefighting battle of trying to work out how they can regain trust. And every time they seem to be getting that way, there seems to be another scandal of another data breach or what have you. And I don't think we'll see huge realms of moving into different services and different things from Facebook, but more this year, as the Americans will say, getting your ducks in a row to try and hope that 2020, for the election year, which will have lots of scrutiny about Facebook of how that will work in the States, to see whether they're in the right place to be able to offer something that helps the community rather than hinders it.
Stuart, thanks so much. That was Stuart Miles, founder and CEO of Pocket Lint. I'm Victoria Scholar, and thanks for watching IGTV.